That's how they eat. If everything was perfect, they off themselves. So I mean, it's because it's a lot of us are doing good. My circle, my people doing good. I ain't going, and it's like we be ashamed to talk about doing good. Nah, bro. Like my people, my circle's doing good. I look around, my homies are doing good. You know, I see family doing good. You know, when you really look at it, it's a little small percent that's like in the hood and living crazy. You know, that's a smaller percent. Y'all look around the circle here, it looks like y'all brothers are doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like so, well, but we don't update. We don't talk about that enough. We talk about what's wrong and harp on it a lot too much for me. I think that's just my opinion.
But
So
I think it's also a way to. Oh, go ahead.
in the struggle. I don't. We act like we brag on it. I mean, look, everybody go through struggles. Some's just worse than others, and that's really all it is. Some struggles are worse than others. It's not a badge of honor. You know, I don't like to brag about my father not always been in my life. That's not something that I like to brag about. I don't like to brag on that I ruined my marriage because I decided to make a selfish decision and cheat on my ex-wife. That's nothing to brag about. It's not to brag about that I had to get food stamps and government cheese and they leaving boxes on my porch because I needed government assistance, drinking on dry milk and orange juice with white labeling and black lettering. Y'all poor folks, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah.
True stuff.
That's not a flex, man. That's a problem. So why would I ever want to go back there and say, kids, this is what y'all need. Y'all need to go through the struggle. No. I run this to myself all the time. Do you bless? I say, you go to your room, you sleep in your own goddamn room. You're not sharing your room with a brother, another sibling, or cousins, or nothing like that. You're not getting no hand-me-down clothes.
None.
Everything brand new. You trying tags off. That ain't what I had to deal with. I'm going to the Goodwill, the DAV. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting secondhand clothes because he outgrew it. I got accepted now. That's not a flex. That's trauma. Truth be told, co-collision. I'm sure you heard cats talk like that. That's nothing to flex on. To be really brag about. There's nothing wrong with you sharing it because you're trying to teach the message.
Right.
I'll tell you this. I don't want to ever go back. I've been poor. I've been poor. I don't want to never go back. I hate that experience.
Right. You know, I think what Hink said is powerful. And while I was sitting here letting it marinate, you know, there's a concept in the clinical world called transgenerational trauma. And transgenerational trauma is predicated in thinking errors that we're not aware of. In the clinical, there's a concept called catastrophizing. We always catastrophize everything. But to add nuance to what Hink said and what you're saying about going through the fire, it's actually twofold. Dr. King once said, we got some tough days ahead, but somehow we're going to make it. It's okay to talk about going through the fire if going through the fire is predicated in a purpose. That's one thing. But it's another thing to go through the fire when it's self-inflicted based on ignorance, based on following negative patterns. It's not a benefit to us as a collective. And so what I see now is people that go through the fire. Going through the fire is self-inflicted. I went through the fire as a Black man. I struggled hard. Started off in law enforcement, got my first degree as a mental health CO, 7 years with the Department of Juvenile Justice, working with bad kids or at-risk kids. Went back to school, got my bachelor's from North Carolina Central, went back to Central, got my license special ed, and then got my master's from UNC Chapel Hill. I was going through the fire as it was based on my purpose, but as going through the fire, I didn't do anything wrong. But see, when you're a 6'5", dark skin, speak well, don't tap dance, you know, it scares people. And so I've always been a threat just by default. When I was at UNC Chapel Hill, they said, you know, you're a threat just because you're 6'5". So I'm like, well, what that got to do with me? So I've been through the fire as I was trying to go do my purpose. But what I'm seeing now, Real Bravado, or going through the fire, is that people are going through the fire based on BS, based on foolish stuff, and then they're sitting on their asses turning around and saying, it's the white man. Our ancestors knew what the struggle was, but as we were going through the struggle, We always said onward, upward, because we understood that we could see on the underside. The old folks used to say, we don't understand now, but we understand better by and by. But in that, it was a struggle. It was part of the struggle and was part of the purification through fire. But this generation don't want to go through fire. And they'll sit up and look at you and say, oh, he think he better. You damn right I think I'm better, because I put in work to be better. I've been busting my ass for the last 12 years, struggling and setbacks and heartaches and pain, because I was doing the right thing. So no one's going to ever shame me for being, or more or less trying to personify the excellence that once was the mantle of Black people.